This week isn't just big, it's game-changing. General Hospital.
The halls of General Hospital were never truly quiet, but on this particular day in Port Charles, the tension seemed to hum through every corridor, every whispered conversation, every lingering glance. Secrets were bubbling dangerously close to the surface, and for some, the truth would be impossible to ignore any longer. Charlotte uncovers the truth. Charlotte Cassadine had always been sharper than most gave her credit for. As the daughter of Lulu Spencer and Valentine Cassadine, she had grown up in a world where secrets were currency and trust was a fragile illusion. But nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to uncover. It started innocently enough. A misplaced file, a conversation overheard between hushed voices in the corridors of the hospital. Charlotte hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but when she heard her father's name, she froze. She can't know the truth about her past, one voice said. Charlotte's heart pounded. Her past? Later, unable to shake the feeling that something was wrong, Charlotte took matters into her own hands. She had learned from the best. After all, being a Cassadine meant never accepting things at face value. Breaking into Valentine's study that evening, Charlotte searched through documents, files, anything that might explain the cryptic conversation. And then she found it. A letter. Her hands trembled as she read the words that suggested her life had been carefully constructed, manipulated in ways she couldn't yet fully understand. Mentions of hidden truths, altered timelines, and decisions made for her protection. Tears welled in her eyes as the weight of it all crashed down. "Why would you lie to me?" she whispered into the empty room. But deep down, Charlotte already knew the answer. Because in Port Charles, the truth was often far more dangerous than the lie. Carly demands answers. Across town, Carly Spencer was done waiting. Standing in the Metro court office, her arms crossed and her expression steely, Carly stared down Jack Brennan. "I want the truth," she said, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. "No more half answers, no more deflections." "What aren't you telling me?" Brennan remained calm, but there was a flicker of tension in his eyes. He knew better than to underestimate Carly. She wasn't just asking questions. She was closing in. "Carly," he began carefully, "some things are more complicated than they seem." "That's not good enough," she shot back. "My family is involved. My daughter is involved. So you're going to stand there and tell me everything right now." The mention of her daughter shifted the energy in the room. Because at that very moment, Josslyn Jax was fighting her own battle. Josslyn's ICU crisis. The ICU was filled with the steady beeping of machines, each sound a reminder of how fragile life could be. Josslyn stood at the bedside, her eyes locked on the person lying unconscious before her. Her hands trembled as she reached out, gripping the edge of the bed. "Please, you have to wake up," she whispered. "This wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this." The events that led to this moment played over and over in her mind. Every decision, every missed warning sign. Guilt gnawed at her, refusing to let go. A nurse entered quietly, checking the monitors. "You should get some rest," she said gently. Josslyn shook her head. "I'm not leaving." Because leaving meant accepting the possibility that things might not get better. And Josslyn wasn't ready to face that. Cody and Molly's unexpected celebration. Meanwhile, in a rare moment of light amidst the chaos, Cody Bell found himself raising a glass alongside Molly Lansing Davis. "Here's to small victories," Cody said with a grin. Molly smiled, though there was a hint of exhaustion behind it. "I'll take any victory we can get." The two had formed an unlikely bond, one forged through shared struggles and unexpected understanding. "Did you ever think things would turn out like this?" Cody asked. Molly let out a soft laugh. "Not even close." But for the first time in a long while, there was hope. They clinked glasses, the sound echoing like a promise that even in a town full of secrets and heartbreak, moments of joy could still exist. Brook Lynn and Chase faced foster hurdles. Not far away, reality was far less celebratory for Brook Lynn Quartermain and Harrison Chase. Sitting across from a social worker, the couple listened as the challenges of becoming foster parents were laid out before them. "It's not a simple process," the social worker explained. "There are background checks, home evaluations, interviews." "We understand," Chase said, though his jaw tightened slightly. Brook Lynn reached for his hand, squeezing it. "We're ready for this." But as the meeting continued, it became clear just how many obstacles stood in their way. Questions about their past, concerns about stability, doubts that seemed to linger in every word. Afterward, stepping outside into the cool air, Brook Lynn exhaled sharply. "That was a lot." Chase nodded. "Yeah, but we're not giving up." She looked at him, determination shining in her eyes. Not a chance. Because for them, this wasn't just about proving something to a system. It was about building a future. Charlotte confronts Valentine. Back at the Cassadine estate, Charlotte stood in the doorway, the letter clutched tightly in her hand. "Is it true?" she asked, her voice trembling. Valentine froze. Slowly, he turned to face her. "Charlotte, don't," she interrupted. "Don't lie to me. Not anymore." The pain in her eyes was unmistakable. Valentine stepped forward, his expression softening. "I was trying to protect you." "From what?" she demanded. "The truth? My own life." He hesitated, and that hesitation said everything. Tears spilled down Charlotte's cheeks. "You don't trust me." "That's not it." "Then what is it?" she cried. "Because right now it feels like everything I believed about my family, about you, was a lie." The silence that followed was deafening. Because sometimes the hardest thing to face wasn't the truth itself. It was what the truth meant. Carly gets closer to the truth. Back at the Metro court, Carly wasn't backing down. "You're running out of time, Brennan," she said, her voice low but firm. "If you don't tell me what's going on, I will find out on my own." And Brennan knew she meant it. "All right," he said finally. "But once you know, there's no going back." Carly met his gaze without hesitation. "Try me." Because in Port Charles, the truth always came at a cost. And Carly Spencer was more than ready to pay it. A town on the edge. As night fell over Port Charles, the threads of each story began to weave together. Charlotte stood at a crossroads, her trust shattered. Josslyn remained by the ICU bedside, refusing to give up hope. Cody and Molly held onto a rare moment of happiness. Brook Lynn and Chase prepared for the fight of their lives. And Carly stood on the brink of uncovering a truth that could change everything. Because in General Hospital, secrets never stay buried forever. And when they finally come to light, nothing is ever the same again.